Welcome to the Painter Marketing Mastermind Podcast, a show created to help painting company owners build a thriving painting business that does well over $1 million in annual revenue. I'm your host, Brandon Pierpont, founder of Painter Marketing Pros and creator of the popular PCA educational series, Learn, Do, Grow, Marketing for Painters. In each episode, I'll be sharing proven tips, strategies, and processes from leading experts in the industry on how they found success in their painting business. We will be interviewing owners of the most successful painting companies in North America and learning from their experiences. In this series, titled Mindset Matters Most, Juan Vasquez of Illusions Painting will be discussing his journey from being a day-to-day painting contractor to becoming a profitable business owner with a vision for his company. In episode 1, Juan discussed his past life, how his business used to look. In episode 2, Juan shared the experience that opened his eyes and changed his life and what happened next. In episode 3, Juan deep dove into all the transitions necessary for his business after his mindset changed. In episode 4, Juan opened up the hood and detailed what Illusions Painting looks like today. And in episode 5, the final episode and this episode, Juan will lay out his thoughts regarding lack of self-confidence and stereotypes and the many initiatives he is currently conducting to help lift up other contractors. If you want to ask Juan questions related to anything in this podcast series, you can do so in our exclusive Painter Marketing Mastermind podcast forum on Facebook. Just search for Painter Marketing Mastermind podcast forum on Facebook and request to join the group, or type in the URL facebook.com/groups/Painter Marketing Mastermind. Again, that URL is facebook.com/groups/Painter Marketing Mastermind. There you can ask Juan questions directly by tagging him with your question so you can see how anything discussed here applies to your particular painting company. Juan, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Brandon? Good to be here again, man.
Episode
Here
5.
we are. Twice in 1 week, man. Let's do
Twice
this.
in 1 week. It's all been building to this. This is the most important one.
Oh God, man. We were just talking out, just before this, and it is amazing to just look at the things that I got myself into. And I'm like, okay, what am I doing?
Thoughts,
Right? What are you doing, Juan? But thank you again for having me here, man. Really appreciate this.
Yeah, man. Thanks for doing it.
It is an honor, to kind of share a little bit of, what the journey has been. Trust me, it hasn't been easy, and I know there's a lot of painters out there who can relate,
100%.
So basically, we talked about the things that we're working on our company, programs, systems, CRMs, you name it. And all of this is to improve the functioning of the company. And what that does, it alleviates us from being there every day. Like Jason says, contractor prison, right?
Yep.
So, sometimes we don't realize, but we are a prisoner of our, not company, of our job. And so if we don't take the time to really look into it and do something about it, just day after day goes, and then you never get out of there. And the more time it passes, the worse the tougher it is to get out of it, because you have to undo all these bad habits. So again, guys, look up to do systems. There's a great a network out there of just amazing people who are willing to help. Facebook groups, mentors, you name it, podcasts that really we can just pick up one thing. So before we move forward, please look into that. It has changed our lives at Illusions Painting. It has changed my life as Juan Vasquez. So highly recommend that.
Yeah. Love it, man.
Getting into Friday today.
We're getting right into it, man. It's going to be a deep Friday. Let's, Juan, if it's okay with you. So the stuff that you laid out, the getting trapped in the business, right? I think a lot of painting company owners can empathize with that and relate to that. I want to back up and kind of focus on you again for a second. So your journey, right? You had talked about coming to this country. I think when you were in your
12 years old.
Yeah,
I was 12 years old.
You were 12. The reason you came, the opportunities that you felt were here, kind of the experience was maybe a little more jarring or difficult or different from what you had expected. You felt out of place for a long time. Can we just get into the insecurities, potentially some stereotypes that you dealt with, kind of your journey, because I think it'll be a really nice transition to what you're trying to do to help other people.
Yeah, man. So I think that a lot of people can relate to my story. I mean, especially, and not Mexicans, but in general, I think anyone who has come to this country. In my case, I was 12 years old. I was just completely fine where I was, my friends, school, but my parents have migrated here and they wanted to have a family together and to have a better future. So in some of our countries, things are a little tougher. So our parents kind of moved in search of a better future for us.
Yep.
So that's what happened to us. My parents bought myself and my three younger sisters here in 92. And so, just coming from a different country, the language, the culture. I remember going to school, and I went to school in a very nice, neighborhood. And so it was like a little group of, I think it might have been like 10, 12 students in the whole middle school.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so
Oh,
we
man.
were like, it was a very tiny, this
Yeah.
is 92. So, this is kind of like closer to the dinosaurs, man. My daughter will say that. Dinosaurs era. But it was so interesting because I didn't really think about it much until now. And so it was this group around 12 kids that just we all knew each other because we were all hung out together because we couldn't speak to anyone else. So it was just a little group that was learning ESL, the Spanish, Spanish for a Spanish speaking language. And it was so interesting because at that point, as a kid, like it's already hard to go to school. I see it with my teenage daughter. But at that point, the culture, the language, like at that point, I felt that I was looked at different. But we went through it. I've learned a lot. I had some really good friends, and I officially went to school only 4 years here. So I went from my seventh grade to 12 to 10. No, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So, and then I got into some, well, my girlfriend got pregnant.
Life.
I was 16 years old. And the choice was whether I work and go to school. My parents didn't really have the means. I could have gone to school and work at the same time, but I actually chose to drop out of school. And we had just started our junior year. So I dropped out of school, and then I worked in a couple of different restaurants, and then my neighbor painter actually was a painter, and he's the one that introduced me into painting. So, 16, 17 years old when I started in the painting business, and it was out of necessity. So
Yep.
at that point, it was more like, hey, I just need a check, want to have a kid, and go on, So never thought that at some point this was going to be a career for me or
So
something that I was going to
you
be
never
doing.
graduated from high school.
No, I
Now
did
you're running
not.
a multi-million-dollar company. Well, that's kind of neat, Juan.
Interesting, yeah.
That's kind
Yeah,
of
it
neat,
is
man.
interesting,
That's
and
great.
yeah, so and I know a lot of people. I've met a lot of people like that, and I think that really running into someone who's done this before, it kind of gives you the little confidence that you need. You're like, oh shoot, like yeah, like he did it or she did it, and she didn't have this, and so I guess that really helped out.
The glass ceiling just kind of busting through it.
Exactly. And I've always been a go-getter. I always get into issues because I just don't know when to say no.
Yep.
All right,
That's what
we
makes
can
it so
relate.
fun, though, man.
You know, I honestly thank you, Brandon, because doing this series really got me to start thinking and making notes that I haven't done in a while. Like we're in the moment and we're in the future that I kind of put my past and I didn't think much about it, but I actually found one of my old school, in high school, they make you do this, your portfolio
Yep.
and to start looking for a job. So I looked into that. I got all my certificates and I couldn't believe I was an honor roll student. I was like, whoa.
Yeah,
That was kind of cool.
that is cool.
So yeah, you know, and now just to think where everything is going, it actually really motivates you to push because we get to a little plateau where like, we're good, we're confident. I always say that I have achieved more than I've ever thought in my life. And that might sometimes set you like to just kind of slow down, which we need sometimes. But I think I'm more encouraged than ever to see
Yeah,
what's next.
I love it, man. I know in the last episode we talked about the future of illusions painting, and there are some very, very, very big initiatives that you're currently undertaking or looking to undertake. So I'm super excited to see your progress over the next couple of years.
Yeah, well, you know, I think so. I think that everything like we mentioned, a lot of the things we've been doing personally and in the business has been to for the future, you know, to grow.
Yeah.
And we feel as we spoke, I feel that most of the things that we started doing a couple years ago, now they're getting implemented, and now we're gonna see that excitement of that growth and not just the stallment where we were for quite some time.
Yeah.
So that's interesting to see. Um, but we'll talk about, I made a little list of initiative things
Prepared, man.
wow, you know,
Dialed in.
the first couple of them, I was not prepared. Let me tell you, I was like,
Yeah, but
oh, I
I
got
think it
this.
worked out better because we got to go
Yeah,
down memory lane and really let it go where it went.
probably, yeah. But then I was all over the place, and I'm like, you know what? You know, and I don't know about you. Can you listen to your episodes?
I never, ever, 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 ever listen. And people might, I've listened, I think I listened once and I just get uncomfortable listening.
That's it, man.
I think I didn't do a good job. I'm like, man, I don't know why people listen to this. I don't speak well. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to turn it off and just kind of tune it out and then just keep doing the best I can.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah. It's
You
weird.
know,
We get
it,
so
it,
self-conscious when we listen to ourselves. We think everyone else sounds better. And it comes back to sort of some of what we're covering today, the lack of self-confidence or stereotype. We all struggle from it. You know, even people
yes.
who are perceived as maybe doing very well or very successful, everybody has insecurities that they struggle with. And it's important for people to recognize that.
We gotta ask Jason and Nick and see if they ever listen to their episodes.
Well, they're supermen, so they probably listen to all of them.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
We're
'Cause
mere mortals. We're mere mortals. Yeah.
oh geez. So I mean the only reason why I ask is because I've gotten to the point where I need to listen to a couple things and reliving certain things and hearing me.
Hmm.
I'm like, Juan, you should do this, you should do that. Like it questions yourself. So what got me to that is that got me to making my notes. I'm like,
I
you know
love it,
what,
man.
Juan? You need to make some notes and you
For
need to
sure.
focus. So, ah, so man, I mean, if we're gonna talk about the things that are moving forward, things that we got going, I guess we started about 5 years ago with PCA, you know.
Yep.
Uh, first time I went to the PCA with Jose, my business partner. It just changed our mind. It changed the way we saw the business, the way we viewed, I mean, even our lives, you know, as a contractor. And so it started there because we saw that there was a way for us to do something more. There was a way. I've always had the intentions of like building something, like taking it to the next level. Did not know how, but thanks to the PCA, really got to the point. I'm like, so I used to always say, I'm like, oh, I want to do this, and we're gonna do this. And I used to tell the girls here in the office, I'm like, I don't know how, but we're gonna do it. And that
Yeah.
was it was a
That can do
thing that
attitude, man, is huge.
yeah, yeah,
That
right.
can do, that's where it starts, right? We're going to get into the specifics you learn, but I think it's important people recognize that's where it starts. The belief in
Yeah,
yourself, and you don't know how, you don't know if you have the resources, you're not sure, you've never done something like that before, but you're going to figure out a way. That's the crucial component.
that is true. And for a while, it went like that. It was like, we're gonna do this. I don't know how, but we're gonna do it. And they will be like, man, you're crazy. You're crazy. And now it's gotten to the point where like, this is what we're doing. And I'm like, and I always say, I know exactly what we need to do, and this is how we're gonna do it. And they look at me, they're like, they don't look at me with that weird look anymore. They're like, okay,
Yeah.
if we waited this long, I think okay, I think you got it now. So
You've won their trust.
I think so. I like to think so. So fast forwarding 4 years into PCA, we're always trying to see what we can, what else can we do? Not just show up to the PCA, not just like, oh, we went and whatever, we partied. No, we showed up to the events, always trying to see what we can help with. And it's very interesting when you help, when you truly care and donate and bring your time, great things come to you. I've seen people that they want to see the results, but they have the funnel, way of things. It's like I have the bigger side and I'll let out whatever I can, but everything is for my advantage. And every time you do that, I realize that doesn't work that way. So I really like to be open and get myself into whatever I can get to.
You're
Sometimes I
talking
may
about
not.
kind of ulterior motives to everything that you do.
Exactly.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, so for example, when we got into the PCAs, like I would always volunteer, "Hey, I can help," and they'll look at me like, "Oh, you again," But I was like, I can help," and so that led us to about a year and a half ago. No, a little over a year, no, probably like a year. Julie Ethan,
Yep.
she was part of the PCA, and we've met in at a presentation that what's his name, Nick had down in Southern California, and we were talking about the Hispanic, community and what we can do for the Hispanic community, and an initiative. And I kept saying, I'm like, Julie, if I can help, I can help, I can help. And one day she calls me, it's like, okay, I need your help. And
Excellent.
so last year we started doing we became part of the speaker bureau board for the PCA, and that led us to create a small presentation that basically just talks about ourselves, like mainly myself and Jose's included in there, and how we've been able to, convert our business into what it is now and what we're using and what we're doing. So what we do is mainly Sharon Williams puts these events, and we go speak on mainly like small businesses, mainly Hispanic businesses. And what really helps is for them to get encouraged, to say, oh yeah, there are ways out there, and especially in Spanish. So that's how that thing started. Julie asked me to do one in North Carolina, and I was like, okay, one is fine. And she's like, well, can we do one more? We ended up doing 12
Oh my
last year.
goodness.
So you can only imagine, it puts a lot of strain in your business, your family. You have to travel almost every other weekend, and um, it was tough. But one thing that we really learned in our business was that we needed help. We cannot be doing this just traveling anywhere and not having the proper person in place.
It kind of you being forced to be absent expose some weaknesses in your business.
Exactly. And thanks to that, we were able to alleviate that. And now, I mean, it's still hard to leave, but it's easier.
Yeah.
So that's one of the first things that I did is they put me into his speaking bureau for the PCA, which has been awesome. I get to meet you, I got to meet Chris more. I mean, just I'm like a little sponge, I'm just absorbing. I'm like, I remember Brandon said this, I remember Chris did this, and but it helps you so much that we don't really understand how much it helps us. So that was the first part. And then the other one, our podcast, Los Pintores. So after going to different states, we got to few different painters, especially in Spanish. And one of the things was like they're very they don't know much about social media. They're not really connected other than the work for them. They're still at the job site thinking like, no, I need to be busy and I don't have time for anything else.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was like, we're on Instagram, right? We're on Facebook, we're communicate with most of the people we meet at the PCA just via social media. And most has a lot of good friends that we have nowadays, we've met through social media. And so we kind of explained that to them, and like, how can we get this to more people? And so one day we're like, why don't we create a podcast and in Spanish? So Jose came out with the name of Los Pintores, which I'm like, that's awesome. It's just so easy.
Yeah.
So what
Right to
we've
the
been
point.
doing that, we're 16 episodes right now, and we're just closing in our first season. Um, I was just telling you about how hard it is to listen to yourself. So what's coming up is we want to take those 16 episodes and do a recap, what we've learned and what we share. And I think that will be very great for everyone and even for us.
Yeah.
So now when we start our new season, we want to actually get a nice mic and maybe nicer setup, not like our computer and our earbuds, but put a little more work into it,
Yeah.
So that's our goal.
I mean, it works. It works, right? It's not a bad setup. Minimum viable product. You guys, I would say, we're well beyond that. So then, as you become world famous, Juan, you sort of upgrade as it goes. I listen to. I think I've mentioned him. I know I've mentioned him on other series. I like Alex Hormozy a lot. He has a
Mm,
podcast called The Game. He founded Gym Launch. He's a very successful entrepreneur. But I go back and I listen to some of his earlier podcasts, and it's very clearly a different quality in a
yes,
sort of a negative sense from his current podcast, right?
yes,
And one lesson a mentor had taught me a long time ago was if you're not embarrassed by what you're putting out or what you're doing a year ago, then you're not moving fast enough. So I kind of keep that in mind. Like
exactly.
whatever I'm doing today, I should be embarrassed by this right now, a year from now, or else I haven't advanced enough.
Okay, that's a very good way to put it
Right.
because
And
it
it also
happens.
gives
Yeah.
you permission to not be perfect because it's okay. You're going to continue to improve.
What? I want to be perfect. Dang
We all want to be
it.
perfect, man. It's just it doesn't seem achievable for whatever reason.
Yeah. So that's two pieces of what's going on right now. Um, so we go out to Albuquerque, or even before that, I get a call and I was asked if I wanted to, be a director, or they were nominating me to be a director for the PCA board, and I was like, that's it's such an honor. Um, I don't know how to put it. I guess for some people, this is more like whatever, I have my business, I have my things going on. I don't need um the acknowledgement or any of that stuff. But I really believe that this, the PCA has really, really been part of not just the PCA, but everyone involved around it, everything that we've done around it to the success of our business and the growth of myself, to being able to, really flourish and move forward. That being part of that has really given me saying like, this is your time. Like this is your time to grow. This is your time to give back. What are you gonna do with this? And so it challenges you. And so that I think has been one of the biggest, more significant things for myself. It's I don't know how, and maybe I can be part of the Spanish, community or anything, but whatever that was, I was placed in this situation. So now I feel the pressure that I gotta do more and really, really deliver. And
Yeah.
so that's a tough one there. I love it, but it's a tough commitment.
You keep pushing yourself. And like you said, some people might, I think the PCA has a great board of directors, but some people are promoted to positions like that, might sort of take it for granted. Okay, I'll go and, if people ask my input, I'll give it and make the whatever vote I need to make and whatever. But you take your roles very seriously. This isn't something that you're doing lightheartedly, which is why you're doing so many extra things. It's a passion for you. It's a passion to empower people. It's what this whole series is about. It's what we're talking about today. Empower people who have struggled or maybe who are encountering obstacles similar to the ones that you have encountered in your life, and how can you help them
That's true.
surmount it? So that's a big responsibility to actually try to do that effectively.
I think so. And we go back to the same point of like, how were you not? I mean, I didn't think that I would do anything like this. So now that I do, everything that we've done the last few years is to have the freedom to be able to do this, the freedom to sit down here and have, an hour to chat with you and have another hour to chat with someone else over a Zoom call.
I take
Because
about
if
2 hours of your time, Juan. Between the
there you
before and the after, we just
go.
keep extending the time that we set aside for
Right?
these.
But the fact that you can move your business to that
Yeah.
point, it's really that reward. Because otherwise, if you're out there working, and this is going back to reassure how important it is to keep growing, to keep evolving as yourself, because now the business is running because the business is actually a reflection of us. I mean, I keep hearing that a lot in the books, and it is true.
It's
When
crazy
we've,
talk. Crazy
huh?
talk. It's crazy talk.
Right.
Right? This
¿Cómo
top
that?
down.
They
What are you
just
talking about?
so
If the business
so
has issues, it is no reflection whatsoever of the way that the owner approaches it or their personal life.
that's what I used to think.
Right?
It's just easier
Forces you to
that way,
take a
right?
look in the mirror and be like, all right, we need to make some changes.
No, I'm telling you, like listening to your episodes, that's like, oh, that's harmful. Oof, harmful. Well, one day I'm gonna be like,
Braver
look,
man than me.
listen, man.
Braver man than me, Juan.
So so being part of the board, this is the first year I got to experience it's different, looking at it from a different perspective than I've seen it this whole many years, and now feeling that responsibility. Actually, I was brought out to help with the El Pintor Hispano. This is something that we kind of started with Julie, and it was mainly just a Facebook group that honestly we need to put more time into it too. But it's a place where we can bring more awareness, more announcements, more just information in general. And so we started that. And then now, as we were just talking about, the PCA is going to have its own uh session in Spanish, you want to call it, so a little mini expo in
Yep.
Spanish, right? So I think if you look at my track here, I mean, I want to advocate for the Hispanic community, but at the same time, I really don't believe in us singling ourselves out, because we are a whole group of painters,
Yep.
businesses, and it doesn't matter what your ethnicity is. It's like it's a passion we have for what we do, for the industry, for growing our business, for being a better, leader, for being a better father. So that's what it comes down to. And so in our podcast, we, as much as we want to just be in Spanish, we have Spanish, English, episodes, and we have full English, full Spanish. We're gonna work on bringing some subtitles. We're working on that. It's not as easy as we thought it would be.
Yeah, it's a little challenging.
Yeah, and so that brings us to the PCA. What do we call it? Like
I don't
we're
even know
still kind of
what
we're
it's
still
being
working.
called.
We're still working on the actual official name.
So it's like the mini Spanish Expo, but that probably should have a little bit more of an official title. It's this for people listening, because this is going to come out well in advance of it. It's in Orlando. It's going to be September 29th. Juan will
Yes,
be there. I am going to
yes,
be
you are
there
gonna
with
be there.
Juan, going to
Yes,
kind of do the best that I can with the Spanish presentation.
yeah.
But if you're able to make it,
Brandon va a hablar en español, ¿verdad, Brandon?
vamos a ver. We
I
will
was,
see.
hey, oh,
Yeah.
you got it. You said that
Oh
word.
yeah,
You
I'm
got
good.
it.
I'm good.
Vamos a
I
ver.
said one sentence. We're clear. Yeah, no worries. No worries.
Yeah, so imagine putting this together, so that's I'm just part of it. I'm just, along here for the ride. But that's basically, if you realize this is all that we've been doing. Um, I also Sherwin Williams, I've met a couple great people from Sherwin, and they've been very I guess something that we don't realize as painters is that there's a lot of resources. Depending on what state you're in, um, you'll have different dominant, right, on vendors that you have.
Yep.
So in our area, we have Kelly Moore, Sharon Williams, and Benjamin Moore. So Kelly Moore, I've worked with. It's a smaller kind of West Coast painting company, but I've worked with them for so many years, but they don't have any resources like other than selling you paint. They don't try to educate you. They don't try to, do more than that part.
Sure.
Benjamin Moore, I probably, I buy probably 80%, probably about 70% of my material from them. But I don't really see them, and maybe I'm kind of getting a little too deep into this, but I don't really see them as a company helping the painter or like bringing more education to the painter, like educating you more on why you should be, being more profitable and doing certain things.
Sure.
Um, after being in the PCA, I met quite a few people from Sherwin-Williams, and one of the things that I found out about Sherwin-Williams is all the resources they have, and they don't really cost us money. Yeah, they want us as a customer, but at the same time, it's great that they're bringing value to us. It's like us and my company bringing value to my painters.
Leading with
Um,
value.
exactly, and I think that they have a lot of resources that a lot of us painters don't know about, and they're free. So even those little things can really help us, later on in our businesses. But what I'm getting at is that now understanding all those things that Sherwin-Williams has, thanks to the PCA, I've been able to be in conferences where we talk about how our businesses have been able to succeed. Now we created we're creating a relationship with Sherwin-Williams in our personal, like in our town. And what's great is that we used to struggle to find resources or like to struggle to find certain things and have to call so many people. Now we've established this relationship, and what it does, it brings these persons closer to us in a very quick and very responsive, like very quick manner. So as a business, finding those resources really help you. So because of that, like I have participated in a couple of their advisory boards, like what do painters need, what are our demands, what are certain things, and why I'm saying this is because in my area, I've tried to kind of do like a gathering or trying to do something to come closer to the painting community, and everybody really just doesn't want to be part of it. And it's hard to grow when you don't take the time to look at the resources, get out of, it's not just about putting the paint, the brush down, but understanding that you got to go out there and find new
Yeah.
resources.
Network, learn from other people who are maybe farther along than you, learn from people who are a similar spot than you. They're still going to be able to teach you things, and then network with the resources like Sherwin-Williams or Sherwin-Williams rep, that can provide you help. I guess can we dive into people listening and they say, yeah, I want to do this, but I don't know how to do it. Well, should they go talk to their rep? Should they, what would their approach be?
So I think same as the PCA with Sherwin-Williams, there's still not a lot of information at the local level.
Mm-hmm.
It's more when you get to the corporate side. We being part of the PCA and we meeting a couple of the people who are higher up can get to those resources faster. We're actually working in our area with one of the managers in the area to bring sales reps to like kind of like a gathering and explain to them why is it that us painters need, what are we asking of them so they can actually provide this. So what I can tell everyone is like, go talk to your sales rep. Like, believe it or not, tell them and just say, hey, listen to this or follow these podcasts or just try to help them. Because sometimes we need to push for that. We need to ask for for certain things, but they have the resources, but we realize that even our sales reps and our local communities don't even know about it. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done there to spread it out more. I know they have a podcast. I know that there's a lot of information at PCA. So anyone that wants to do this kind of things, just go to the PCA, website
Yeah.
and learn from all these resources we have. They're all free. I mean, not all free, but
Not all
there's a lot
free.
of free
Yeah.
stuff on
There's PCA Overdrive. If you go to pcapainted.org, pcapainted.org, then you can go to the PCA's website and you can look at everything they have there. You can become a member for $500 a year, an investment that is
That's right.
extremely, extremely well worth it because you'll get access to a lot more resources. But either way, there are a lot of free resources that you can access today.
So just finishing up here with the Sherwin-Williams part, I'm only bringing this out because I think what we've learned, and we're doing this with many other companies, the providers that we're working with, is we are learning to create a relationship with them. I just don't want to just buy paint or material from them, but work with them and have that understanding that we're both valuable to each other. But that comes from us, that comes from us bringing the value out of our company and taking the time to be a resource to them too, because that's how we can help each other. And I'm only bringing this up because this is really another thing that is, other than painting, that really as a business owner you have to do in order to grow your business.
So,
Right.
yeah, so you're on advisory board. You're exceptional, right? You're an outlier here. You're on the PCA board of directors. You're on the Sherwin-Williams advisory boards. You're on the PCA Bureau of Speakers, traveling around. What can someone who's listening to this, who maybe isn't on all those things, or maybe doesn't even necessarily want to be on all those things, what can they do, as you're saying, to bring value to Sherwin-Williams without having to maybe try to do all that?
I think the best way, like I said, so the boards that let me rephrase this. When we go and have one of these talks, is Sherwin-Williams puts an event,
Mhm.
and they're pretty much the only, probably mainly the ones that put these events. And one of them is a pro show where they have all their equipment and people talking about their like work and stuff. But then usually they have a speaker. And lately they've been putting more of those in Spanish. So that's where normally I end up going. And then they also have a what's it called? Interior repaint conference. And so they talk about all the resources they have, how the material work. They have an app that as a painter, it's really helpful. So the first thing that we can do is this. I've been to these events, and the problem is that I've had an occasion where only one painter showed up. Put this in perspective that it doesn't matter who it is. It could be the PCA, the Sherwin-Williams, whoever. They're spending money to put this event together. They have food, they have speakers, they have to get the venue, and we don't show up. So the first thing that you can do as a contractor, as a painter, if you want to learn or go ahead yourself, ask about your sales rep. Look, usually on Facebook, they have a lot of these things. Reach out to us at Illusions Painting. We're usually on Instagram, Facebook, and ask us. And if we know of anything, we don't know of every places, but we know quite a few things that are going on in Spanish, and just show up.
Yeah.
By you showing up, that shows everyone that you're interested, that you took on a day out of your job to go and learn and try to learn something new. I think that's the most basic thing you can do.
So you can reach out to Juan in the Facebook group, as you mentioned in the beginning. Is there another way? I know you said reach out to Illusions Painting on Facebook, Instagram. Is there email, or what would be the best method? Would it be through
Well,
social?
there's an email, so I can give you this email here. It's a little long, but it's admin at illusionspaintinginc.com.
Admin
And
at
that,
illusionspaintinginc.com.
yes, but if you guys follow us is illusions dot painting on Instagram, and you send us a personal message like a DM or anything, believe me, it's either myself or Jose will reach out to you.
Awesome. So you can
And
reach out and Juan will guide you.
well, I think we just give you guys, and a lot of these, like the stuff that we've been doing is in Spanish, but we're involved, like we started doing this as, speeches in Spanish or whatever you want to call them.
If you reach out, it has to
Presentation.
be in Spanish or he won't reply.
No. I'm saying no. So no, but
As we
then
say it in an English only podcast, like okay,
there you go, right? So
that makes a lot of sense.
we showed up to Phoenix, no, in Utah, and we show up. Then we're all ready to go, and then the girl goes like, "Are you doing it in English?" I'm like, "No, we're only having it in Spanish because we thought it was a Spanish presentation." And she's like, "Well, we only have two Spanish speaking people, and we had like probably 40, 30 other guys." So I'm like, "Holy crap!" So I'm like, "Okay, no panic." So everything's in Spanish on the screen, but we're like
Yeah,
translating as we go. So
yeah,
we had to come back here now translate. Now we have one in Spanish and one in English. So which one do
excellent,
you want?
excellent.
So it's exciting to talk about this, man. How can I say? I have a lot of issues on some other departments because this takes a lot of time to maintain, try to have your head
Yeah,
focused and still run a business.
this is
Just the
almost like a
business is
second business. This is a pretty big thing.
more like a third business because
Oh,
family is second.
yeah,
You
all
have
right,
to,
all
well,
right.
family gotta
Very
be
good.
first. Family
Yeah,
gotta be
family,
first,
then
the
illusions,
business,
and then
and
this.
then the other stuff. Oh
Yeah,
God. Yeah.
you're a
So
busy man, Juan. You got a lot
I
going on.
like it though. I love it. I love this. This is the stuff that really pushes me to do my work to do this.
Yeah,
So this is my reward. So I'm not complaining at all. I love it.
yeah.
I may even get myself into more later.
Oh goodness. Let's 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 dive a little bit deeper if we can. I know we're still kind of mapping it out and you're still sort of formulating it, but this September 29th
Hmm.
event in Orlando, the kind of mini one-day Spanish speaking expo almost through the PCA. So the PCA is hosting this and it's a big event for the PCA, big initiative is to have a better outreach and inclusion with the Hispanic community. What can people expect from this event? What's the hope of this event? Is this going to be a recurring thing? Let's dive in.
So this is the first time we're doing this, and my understanding right now is we have 5 speakers, and we're gonna talk about from how to start your business. You will be there talking about how to market and
Yep.
the beginnings of marketing and how important it is to
Kind of get
create
things
your
off the
presence.
ground and really jumpstart your business. Yep.
Exactly. And then we will be I think myself and Jose will be speaking on behalf of what we've done this last year and for the PCA, and it's more like a motivational way of like saying, we can all do it if we really set ourselves to do it.
Yeah.
I know that Ashley and her husband, God, it's gonna kill me. Can't remember his name right now.
Is it Salomon?
Salomon,
Yeah.
yeah, you're the best. So they will be talking about strategies. We have Torlando. He's from the Florida area too.
Yep.
He
Torlando
is
Hank.
bringing he will be another speaker. And then we have one more guy. I haven't met him yet. His name is Alex. Can't I don't know much about him. But like I said, we're still trying to put everything together here. So we are thinking about having, I mean, as you heard, sort of like five different classes, just talk about 5 different topics.
Yep.
Maybe sitting down after that and having like a round table discussion, how things went, what did we enjoy or not, trying to work on all those details. Uh, our goal is for next year. So this year it's only a 1-day event, and this is for us to test it and see how everything goes. So I know that the next year PCA, from what my understanding is that they want to do this a full event, which would be a 2-day event. It'll be sort of like you know, a mini PCA Expo in Espanol.
Yeah,
So
I love it.
I'm pretty excited for that because I think that is needed, and I think that there will be a lot of attendance to that. My
Yeah,
understanding. I'm hoping.
I don't
I'm hoping.
I don't think there's anything like this. You know,
No,
I don't think so.
there's
And there's so many smaller painting companies, so many companies that are subcontracting right now in the Hispanic community, and this is gonna kind of blow the lid off of it, give people an opportunity, a path forward to really building a profitable company that's able to generate their own business and not have to necessarily rely on general contractors and just seeing an opportunity. You're literally creating an opportunity that doesn't exist through this, I think, which is unbelievable.
it is. I think so. I think that is such a small thing to do, but I think that it can really have a very big impact.
Yeah.
And it's just it's for our industry, at the end of the day, and just showing those representations will be awesome.
Yeah.
So that's the goal behind this. I know that we're still working on the details, but we do have a flyer out already at on PCA on Facebook and Instagram. We're gonna work more on trying to put it out there more. I know were saying earlier that you are gonna use your super skills and just put it out there, for everyone
Yep.
to see. I think it's interesting to
You and
see
I are
what's gonna.
marketing this thing together, man. We're gonna
Whew.
blow it up.
All
Yeah.
right, now I feel confident. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's gonna be it's really is I think it's gonna be something really nice. I don't know what to expect. Like I don't know, to be honest with you, but I'm hoping that it is a successful event that we have a really turnout. I know it is hard for people from all over the place that would like to attend. But if they do come out, man, one day Florida's beautiful. They can stay Saturday and just go hang out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we're trying to maybe do something unofficial the next day, depending on how much, interest we have. Maybe just gather and just talk about what we learn and maybe strategize on some things that we can do in the future and maybe plan for the next year or meet us on the next, Spanish Expo. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be a great time.
Yeah. This is super exciting, man. Super exciting. I know that PCA is also working on getting a lot of the content translated into English or Spanish and getting a much more bilingual focus. Because obviously the Hispanic community in the painting industry is very large.
It's a lot of work, man.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work to move everything from that English,
Have to recreate it all essentially.
yeah. And you can't do that with AIs or any of that. It
If you
has to
ever
be
try Google
organic.
Translate and you speak two languages, you realize that it kind of stinks.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what we're doing. I know it's gonna be at am I saying it correct? Is it the Caribe Royale?
I think that's how you're saying it. I think you're saying it correct. That's it's a universal, I believe it's a universal resort.
Oh, so it's inside the park?
It's
Or
not in the park. And I may be entirely wrong with that, but I think it's a universal resort. But someone from Orlando is probably listening and like this guy has no idea what he's talking about.
So how far are you from Orlando?
I'm about an hour and 45 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's not bad.
Yeah,
That is not bad at all.
no, it'll be good. And I'm probably
But
gonna come down early because you and I are gonna maybe have a couple drinks and see if we can stay out of trouble, hang out a little
we'll
bit.
have a couple cervezas and then
Yeah.
yeah, I don't
What's
think
a
we'll do
cerveza?
a
No.
cerveza. Oh yeah, what is that? No, but hey, see, look at this. Anyone that takes a trip over there, just take the trip. The next day you walk around Orlando. I mean, the
Yeah.
weather's beautiful. You get to know the place and get a little bit of experience of what these things are for the future. First time we went to an expo, Jose and I, 2018, Galveston, Texas. This very nice. Were you there?
I wasn't in 2018. Nope.
Okay. Very nice resort. You know, I mean, we weren't that young, but we were younger. And so we get there and we start. I didn't really do a lot of traveling before that. So we go into this very nice resort and you greet it with drinks and great food, and you see all these business people talking about business, and you're like, holy crap, like in a way we didn't feel like we belong there.
Jose was pulling you and being like, I told you this was a bad idea, Juan. I told you we're not
Right?
supposed to be here.
You know, but after that, like just we saw these and I'm only saying this for a reason, we saw these round tables that talked about the $1 million mark, or how do you get
Yep.
to your 5 millions, and we're like, dude, we don't belong here. But now looking back, that's why I say, if you take a little trip to Orlando, come see it, especially if you haven't really been out. You go, you listen. The next day you go and you process that in your mind, and you're in a completely different neutral place. It does something to you, man.
Yeah.
It
It's the
really
first
does
step.
something to you,
It's the first step. It's the
right?
first step. It's a big step. First step is showing up and seeing what's possible.
So guys, please show up. Like I said, there's events all over the place. Um, Depending on your state, I know that most of the PCA are doing gatherings. We were just in Texas with
Yep.
um, Fred and Cooey, and just by doing those, they get together every once in a while. They talk about business. They have a couple drinks and they joke around, man. I mean, trust me, it gives you more fuel to go back into your business.
Yeah. And it's a fun time. Jason Phillips and I were supposed to connect and he wasn't showing up. I'm like, brother, where are you? And he said, oh, the guys, they took me out and we were having some drinks. And, so when you do this stuff, it's not like it's boring, it's not like you're going in some stuffy conference room and you're going to have a good
No,
time. You're going to learn, you're going to connect. It's get involved in this stuff. It's fun stuff and your business and your personal life benefit.
I think so. I think that's and going back to it, that's what we're really doing quite often now. We're a lot of what we do now is connecting, it's networking. We're still working on the business every day, but you have to have a balance, and you have to, once you set a goal, you keep working towards the goal, and you'll see that it takes you not away from your business, but it allows you to be away from your business.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling.
Yeah. And I think the point too that you made about the speaker bureau, about you going and traveling around and speaking at the Sherwin events and how that exposed some weaknesses in your
Yeah.
business, that is, it's negative, but it's also positive, right? Because it
I
shows you what you need to actually fix. So if you go and you're like, oh, I can't leave, I can't leave, just leave. Right. Because whatever goes wrong, and something might go wrong. We're not telling you, Juan and I aren't telling you it's going to be
Yeah.
perfect. Don't
Oh,
worry. Your fears are imaginary. Something might go wrong, but think about the gain that you're going to take away. Business is pros and cons. It's not all pros. There are cons that happen. And sometimes you have to make a small sacrifice or something goes askew, or you have to really work very hard to catch up when you get back. But you've just opened up this massive potential through your action.
you know that I think that we first started talking about the podcast about a year ago. Well, it was right after we started doing our presentations, and
Mhm.
we talked about the podcast. And every time we talk to someone, we're like, "Oh yeah, I want to start a podcast," and everybody wants to start a podcast. One day we just did it, and we were lucky
Just
enough that we had,
do it. I love it.
you know, you
Just do
just
it.
we just and like I said, I've listened to a couple of them and listened to them like, damn, like
You
I'm
can go
like,
crazy, right? Planning it, trying to think, oh, I don't know. Just rip the band. Just start. Just
just
start.
start.
Whatever you're doing.
We've talked to so many guys in the last few months, and they want to do one, and they ask me, what should I do? I told them, grab your computer and do it.
Turn it on,
Do it.
record, do a pre-record so it's not live, so you don't have to worry
Yeah,
about that.
there you
That's
go.
how I
Right.
started.
Yeah.
That's how I still do it. We do
Yeah.
some Facebook lives and stuff, but I didn't do that for some period of time. And what I started with was just actually, I guess this was live, but just 30 seconds, a minute, 2 minutes, Facebook live
Mhm.
videos. And I would just be walking down the street and say, something I read about a Google algorithm update, or something I'm finding works really well with Facebook ads, or like, hey, painting company owners, Brandon from Painting Marketing Pros here. I want to just update you on something real fast. That's a start. And then it's
Yes.
evolved into this podcast that is, I think is bringing a lot of value to a lot of people, has a pretty good listenership. But it started with just my phone, just on my personal profile with nobody listening, nobody tuning in. Just start. Don't worry about your metrics in the beginning. Don't worry if you feel a little silly or you feel like you're not doing a great job. One foot in front of the other.
One of the greatest things right now that's happening is so these podcasts, right? It's giving us a chance to like now we got to get into ourselves. Like, what do we need to do now? Like, in order to run this more and be more like make this is more serious. I think this season is gonna be not. I mean, we still joke around a lot, but it's still gonna now. We're trying to make it a little more like
Down to
what the
brass
meaning
tacks.
be. Exactly.
Yeah.
And so we had Oliver. I don't know if I believe you met Oliver over in Albuquerque.
I don't
He's
know if I did or
English.
not.
Oh, okay. Cool dude. He moved to New York. So now he was like a producer. He's like he did everything and now he's gone. But I have a son, my son Michael, he's 25 years old. He's worked with me in the painting, painting before, but he does not want to paint. But he's actually very good at creating and editing things and having the need of Oliver leaving, he comes to me, he's like, "Hey dad, I can try do this." I'm like, so we did for
Awesome.
about a month. So now he's actually coming out with a lot of good pointers and he's actually like jumping into it. So now it's more personal because my son is into it. So like that'll be another great thing that I can involve him and us like building something now greater this second season. So we'll see how it goes. I'm
That's
telling
so fun. And he gets to build his skill set, work with his
you.
dad, building
Yeah,
something that there's real meaning behind. If people
that's right.
haven't found your podcast, how can they find it? Los Pintores, where do they find it?
So they can find it on any platform. I
Yeah.
know where it's called Los Pintores. Well, you just go on the Los Pintores podcast. You can find it on Spotify, just any platform basically.
Yep.
We have it on YouTube, so we record it, so you can actually see it on YouTube. I know that we're syndicated with the PCA, so you can actually find them at the PCA, which is awesome
So it'll be
too.
on PCA Overdrive and it's LOS and the next word is PINTORES. Los Pintores.
Yes, Los Pintores. So, yeah, man, imagine it's a lot of there's a lot of good things going on, man.
A lot of good things.
It makes it exciting.
Juan, you're like Superman.
Ah,
That's so
You
much going
see,
on, man.
you see
Yeah,
the
you
Superman.
you have a Superman tattoo. Of course you do. I love it.
Yeah,
Of course you
you
do.
gotta be there,
You
man.
gotta be there,
No.
man. You gotta believe you can do it. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah, you sacrifice a lot of times. You sacrifice certain things for others, but I think as a person, we have to be happy and we have to feel full,
Yeah.
because if we don't, then none of this will work. This at the end of the day, our job can be our job, a painful place where you need to go, or it can be your job can be your gateway to where you want to the things you want to do. And I think that for us right now, it's not that it's getting there, but everything that we do at work gives us that time to have the freedom to do the things we do.
Yeah.
So I'm happy for that. For right now, I don't know what about tomorrow, the next day, but right now we are happy and pleased, It's the journey.
Yeah, it is a journey. Yeah, day by day, man. Well, I thank you for everything you're doing, for the community at large. And I know you're changing a lot of people's lives. So
Nah,
thank you.
you know what, honestly, I feel that I'm just giving a little bit of what I got and just giving a little bit back of what I got. So I want to thank again, Josh Abramson. The guy doesn't know it, but thanks to him, thanks to the speech I heard from him in 2017, that really, really changed a lot of a lot of what I'm doing now.
You
So,
should probably tell him.
oh, I've told him a couple
Have you?
times.
Okay.
I already told him a couple
Like if he
times.
doesn't know, you might wanna just let him know.
No, I told him a couple times. We got a chance to talk like at a couple of the expos
Yeah.
and yeah, and again it was through one of those Sherwin Williams events, so go check out their guys. There's resources, find them, You gotta find them. You gotta keep learning. Get out of the brush, man.
Yep. Juan, man, we're coming to the end
Yes,
of
sir.
our series. We are going to, as we do with all of our series, we are going to do a live Q&A, which I am very, very much looking forward to. I always enjoy
Awesome.
the bantering with you.
Uh-oh. No, not so many questions, guys.
Yeah, no, bring the questions, bring the heat for Juan. He can handle it. So this Mindset Matters Most is 5-episode series. I greatly appreciate your time, Juan. I know it was a big commitment. Thank you. Do you have anything you want to add before we wrap up this whole series?
No, man. Again, thank you so much for doing what you're doing. Kudos to your company, man, because I know how tough can be, and I know where you're crushing it, and so
I
that's how it
appreciate you,
should
Juan.
be. And a lot of people that we met along these last few years, man, we created really great friends, colleagues from all over the place, and we've benefited from them, from their knowledge just as much, from their part, from our part. So, my brother-in-law, Jose, that guy has been, you met him, big part to our company. I have a family that really backs me up a lot. Otherwise, if they didn't, I couldn't, I wouldn't be able to do this. So yeah, very thankful, excited to see you guys. Please come to the PCA Expo en Español. We have to give them a name. So we'll put that there
Yeah.
very soon. So
Yeah.
thanks again, man. Everyone, thank you so much. We'll see you guys.
Thank you, Juan. If you want to learn more about the topics we discussed in this podcast and how you can use them to grow your painting business, visit paintermarketingpros.com/podcast for free training, as well as the ability to schedule a personalized strategy session for your painting company. Again, that URL is paintermarketingpros.com/podcast. Hey there, painting company owners. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give us your feedback. Let us know how we did. And also, if you're interested in taking your painting business to the next level, make sure you visit the Painter Marketing Pros website at paintermarketingpros.com to learn more about our services. You can also reach out to me directly by emailing me at brandon@paintermarketingpros.com, and I can give you personalized advice on growing your painting business. Until next time, keep growing.